You should never take out your rotors. Unless you need to clean your horn. Don't take your rotors out. It's a terrible, terrible idea unless you're working with a technician or somebody that has done it before. Let me show you how to do it. You're going to need some very special tools. You're either going to need to make these or you're going to need to buy these. The first thing you need is a block of wood, a 2x4. Just cut off about an 8-inch piece, and that will be used to support the levers to hold the instrument level on the ground or on the table. It will keep the instrument from rocking while we are removing the rotors. The next thing you're going to need is a flathead screwdriver. I like cobalt tools. Harbor Freight tools will work as well. The key is the thickness of the tip. It needs to be wide enough to fit all the way across the screw slot. Next, you're going to need to take a file, and you're going to need to file that taper so that it matches precisely to your screw slots. If you try to use a regular screwdriver that's way too small, you're going to damage this rotary stop screw. The metal is going to chip out, and then it's going to need to be extracted by a repair technician. Next, you're going to need a rotor punch. Now, this is one that I made myself, and I've made these to fit all of the different instruments. There are some companies that do sell these. They're easy to make. All you need is a file and some 1/4-inch rod stock. Now, I used this threaded rod. It can be brass rod. It can be steel rod. It needs to be metal, and it needs to start out at a 1/4 inch. For this French horn that I'm working on today, it has 3 flat sides and 1 round side. And that's going to match up to this right here. You can see flat, 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 and round on the back. We don't want to damage these threads, so we have to put something that fits perfectly right on top of the rotor inside of the stop arm, so that way we can drive out the rotor. Now, once you have all of these tools, the last thing you're going to need is a mallet, so that way you can gently tap these rotors out. First step, remove the rotor caps. Next, we're going to position the lever plate on top of the wood, so that way the instrument sits nice and secure. The first thing we're going to do is remove the rotary stop arm screw, the 2 string screws, and we're going to take that string and throw it away. Careful not to remove these screws all the way. You don't need to when just taking off the strings. These screws are small and often lost in the process. So once I take out the string, I like to tighten them back down so that way I don't lose them. Okay, next we're carefully going to line up our rotor punch. We're gently going to tap until we hear the bearing plate drop. There it goes. Look how dirty that one is. Okay, now that we've removed the bearing plate, we can very carefully continue tapping to push the rotor all the way through the stop arm. You should feel it release, and then you can remove the rotary stop arm, and then carefully lift your horn to catch your rotor. Look at all of that green. Definitely time for a cleaning here. If you'd like to know how to clean these, go check out some of my other videos where I talk about using vinegar to clean the valves or rotors. And that's it. That's all there is to removing your rotors. Now, some things that you'll want to keep in mind is the reassembly is the opposite. You're going to put the rotor back in, you're going to slide the rotary stop arm back on top, and you're going to carefully tighten all of the screws. Now, word of caution, these rotary stop arm screws break very easily. So don't try to screw this on really tight, just snug. If you're unsure about any of this, don't take your rotors out. It's a terrible, terrible idea unless you're working with a technician or somebody that has done it before, because you're also going to need to know how to retie those strings. That is in some of my other videos as well. Just click the thing wherever it's at. Go back and search through my videos, like them all, and there's a video on how to retie your rotary strings. If you've done this before, or you think it's a terrible idea, make sure you give me a follow, hit those likes, share, and bookmark this for later. And throw in the comments if you have any questions, or if you need any help with this, reach out to me, or I'm happy to connect you with a repair technician in your area in case you mess this up.